What's up, everybody? Nico Dwyer back with you for the 10th inning, giving you another edition of This Day in Sports History. In yesterday's edition, we saw the great Bambino Babe Ruth finally call it a career. Today, we don't have any retirements, but we do have some baseball records that we need to get into. Before we get this video started, if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. If y'all enjoy this video, leave a like on it. Let's get into it. This Day in Sports History. Today we start out in 1918 with Dutch Leonard, who throws his second no-hitter of his career when they go up against the Detroit Tigers and they win 5-0. Leonard threw 9 innings on the day with 1 walk allowed and 4 strikeouts. His previous no-hitter was about 2 years prior to this, and this would be the last no-hitter of his career. Then we move up to 1925, and Eddie Collins of the Chicago White Sox becomes the 6th member of the 3,000 hit club. What makes this one a little bit different though is Ty Cobb was actually playing in the game, making this the first time a current member of the 3,000 hit club was present while someone else joined the 3,000 hit club. In the game, Eddie Collins got his 3,000th hit off of a single off of Rip Collins, and he would be the last member to join the 3,000 hit club for 17 years. Then we switch continents, moving to 1929 at the French Championships. René Lacoste defeated Jean Barotra 6-3, 2-6, 6-0, 2-6, 8-6 for his third French title victory. This would be his final major victory of 7 major single titles in his career. Then on the women's side, defending champion Helen Wills Moody defeated Simone Matthew 6-3, 6-4 in straight sets. This would be the second of Moody's 4 French championships and her 9th major of 19 overall titles. Then we go back to baseball in 1932. New York Yankees first baseman Lou Gehrig becomes the first player to hit 4 consecutive home runs. Now 4 home runs had been done in a game before, but non-consecutively. Gehrig did them consecutively. His first 3 home runs came off George Earnshaw. Then his last home run came off Roy Mahaffey in the Yankees' 20-13 victory over the Philadelphia Athletics. Now we move right back to the French Championships in 1950. On the men's side, Budge Patty ended up defeating Yaroslav Drobny 6-1, 6-2, 3-6, 5-7, 7-5 in 5 sets. This would be the first of 2 Grand Slam titles that year for Patty and his 2 major titles of his career. Then on the women's side, Doris Hart defeated Patricia Todd 6-4, 4-6, 6-2 in 3 sets for her first of 2 French title victories and the second of 6 total major victories. A year later, we're at the 50th edition of the French Championships. On the men's side, Yaroslav Drobny defeated Eric Sturgis 6-3, 6-3, 6-3 in straight sets. This would be his first French championship and the first of 3 major titles for Drobny. Then on the women's side, Shirley Fry defeated Doris Hart 6-3, 3-6, 6-3 for her only French title victory and her first of 4 major championships. 4 years later in 1955, we switch right back to baseball and Stan the Man Musial hits his 300th career home run. This home run came while they were down 7-2 in the top of the 5th inning, and it came off Johnny Padres. It was a 3-run home run that brought the Cardinals back to 7-5. Musial would eventually become one of the few members in the 3,000 hit 300 home run club. Now we move up to 1959 at the European Cup final, which saw Real Madrid defeat Stade de Reims 2-0. This would be Madrid's 4th consecutive title, with Enrique Mateo scoring in the 1st minute and then Alfredo Di Stefano scoring in the 47th minute, giving them the goals they needed to defeat Reims 2-0. In 1967, we move right back to the French Championship, and Roy Emerson defeated Tony Roche 6-1, 6-4, 2-6, 6-2 in 4 sets. This would be Emerson's 12th and final Grand Slam title of his career. Then on the women's side, Françoise Durr defeated Leslie Turner 4-6, 6-3, 6-4. This would be her only major victory of her career. In 1971, for the Chicago Cubs, pitcher Ken Holtzman throws his second career no-hitter as they beat the Cincinnati Reds 1-0. Holtzman on the day went 9 innings, allowing 4 walks and 6 strikeouts. Along with Dutch Leonard, who we talked about earlier, and many other people, this would be Holtzman's second career no-hitter. Then in 1972, we move right back to France. At the French Open, on the women's side, Billie Jean King defeated Yvonne Goulardon for her only French title victory, winning 6-3, 6-3 in straight sets. This would be the 7th of 12 major titles for King. A year later at the 1973 French Open on the men's side, Ilie Nastase wins his second Grand Slam singles title, defeating Niki Pilic 6-3, 6-3, 6-0. This would be his first French title victory. Move up a little over a decade now. In 1984 at the LPGA Championship at Jack Nicklaus Golf Course, Patty Sheehan won by 10 strokes over runners-up Pat Bradley and Beth Daniel. 4 years later at the NBA Eastern Conference Finals in 1988, the Detroit Pistons were going up against the Boston Celtics. The Pistons had had some trouble beating the Celtics in the previous couple years. This year would be different though. The Pistons ended up defeating the Celtics 4-2 in the series. Isaiah Thomas, Adrian Dantley, Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer were finally able to defeat the Kevin McHale, Larry Bird, Robert Parrish-led Celtics. This would be after losses in the 87 playoffs and the 85 playoffs. They were finally able to defeat the Celtics. Then at the 1990 NBA Eastern Conference Finals, we stick with the Detroit Pistons, this time defeating the Chicago Bulls 4-3. The series was 2-2 after 4 games. The Pistons got Game 5, then the Bulls got Game 6. It was all down to Game 7. And although Michael Jordan scored 31 points in Game 7, it wasn't enough as the rest of the team didn't really show up. They only ended up scoring 74 points. The Pistons were led in scoring that postseason by Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, Mark Aguirre, and then Dennis Rodman was there for the rebounds. They were too much for Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and Michael Jordan combined. Again, Jordan did everything he could do. It just wasn't enough though. The Pistons were still the best team. They would have to wait another year to finally make it over the hump. Now we move up to the 2001 NBA Eastern Conference Finals, which saw the Philadelphia 76ers going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. They won the series 4-3, and in Game 7 they won 108-91. This was in large part due to Allen Iverson, who scored 44 points in Game 7 and averaged 30.5 points during the series. Dikembe Mutombo also helped out a lot on the boards, getting 19 rebounds in Game 7. This would be too much for the Bucks, Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson, and Sam Cassell to compete with. Also in 2001, at the US Open Women's Golf Tournament at Pine Needles Lodge and Golf Course, defending champion Kerry Webb ended up winning by 8 strokes over runner-up Sayri Pak. This would be the largest margin of victory in 21 years. Now we move right back to basketball in 2006. In the Western Conference Finals, the Dallas Mavericks were going up against the Phoenix Suns. The Mavericks ended up winning the series 4-2 with a 102-93 victory in Game 6. Dirk Nowitzki averaged 28 points in the series and 13.2 rebounds, with Josh Howard and Jason Terry also averaging double digits. They were able to defeat the Suns' Steve Nash, Boris Diaw, and Shawn Marion in the series, move on to the finals where they would face the Miami Heat. Then in 2012, on the men's golf side, Tiger Woods notched his 73rd PGA victory with a 2-stroke victory in the Memorial Tournament. This victory equaled Jack Nicklaus's record of 73 PGA victories. A year later in the NBA Eastern Conference Final, the Miami Heat were going up against the Indiana Pacers. The Heat were somehow taking the 7 games against the Pacers, but LeBron said no in Game 7, took over. The Heat won 99-76. In the series, LeBron averaged 29 points, with Dwayne Wade, Mario Chalmers, and Chris Bosh all averaging double digits. They were able to defeat the young Pacers team led by Roy Hibbert and Paul George. Then we go to baseball in 2017, and Albert Pujols becomes the 9th player to hit 600 career home runs. How he would hit it though would be a little bit different than all the other 8. Pujols became the first player to hit his 600th home run off of a grand slam. This grand slam came off of Twins pitcher Irvin Santana, and Pujols still remains the only player to ever get his milestone home run this way. Also in 2017, at the UEFA Champions League final, Real Madrid defeated Juventus 4-1 for their 12th overall title. This would be Juventus' 5th consecutive final loss, and in part due to Cristiano Ronaldo scoring twice as the defending champion Madrid wins 4-1. Now we move back to the US Open's women golf in 2018. Arya Jutarnudan gives up a 7-shot lead in the final round, but ended up winning in the playoff hole over Kim Hyo-joo to win the US Open. Then finally in 2018, Stephen Curry of the Golden State Warriors breaks Ray Allen's NBA Finals record for most three-pointers with 9 in the Warriors' 122-103 victory in Game 2 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. So there you have it. That's what happened on this day in sports history. Did I miss anything out? Let me know down in the comment section. I apologize if I mispronounced any names. I try to look it up. It does happen sometimes though, so I do apologize. But leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. For Nick Wire and the 10th inning. See ya.